Enemies. Faith secretly tries to impede Buffy and the gang as they try to learn more about the mayor.
We open at the movie theater, where Buffy and Angel have just watched a pretty racy movie, and it's making them both uncomfortable since that level of intimacy between them will cause Angel to lose his soul.
But Angel says he doesn't need that to be happy with her. But the curse wasn't about having sex, it was about him achieving true happiness. From what he said, it sounds like just being around Buffy could be threatening.
And they decide to test it out by just sucking face when they're spotted by Faith.
She says that the council has deemed her ready for active duty, and she goes out on patrol with Buffy.
On patrol, a demon pops up, but he's actually looking for them and says he has information on the Books of Ascension.
They deal with some dark stuff, and the mayor, he would hate it if somebody got a hold of him before he, well, you know.
Don't know. Before he what?
Hey, read 'em and weep, that's all I got to say.
I thought his makeup was pretty good.
Yeah.
I was impressed.
He says if they can pony up $5,000, he'll give them the books.
So you can buy, I'm guessing here, some skincare products?
Plane ticket out of the Hellmouth before it's Adios Slayer Loco.
What kind of plane ticket costs $5,000?
Is he going to wear a disguise if he gets on the plane? Or is there a demon flight service somewhere?
You think they have teleporters or something. Faith says no dice, and when she goes to kill him, Buffy doesn't just let him go, she actively stops Faith from doing anything.
Faith says a demon's a demon, so are all demons bad or not?
And Buffy says she let him go because she wants to know more about the Books of Ascension and seems to have forgotten about the 2 Watchers that could tell her about those things.
Plus, wouldn't it have made more sense for them to capture this demon and, question him? They didn't really ask him anything. Later, Mayor Elburn questions Faith about the demon while trying to get her to drink a glass of milk.
And pull back her hair.
Because he suggests that if she doesn't kill the demon and get the books before Buffy can, he will replace her with a more likable character.
Meanwhile, Buffy is relaying the encounter with the gang.
And I wondered if Giles eating things in the background was going to become a recurring plot element.
Oddly, only Willow knows what the Books of Ascension are about.
She turns out to be remembering one use of the word ascension in one book, which Giles somehow finds immediately. Do those books all have indexes where he can just flip to exactly the right page? I mean, maybe they do, I don't know.
The last mention of the Ascension was right before an entire town disappeared.
And in the middle of all this, Cordelia comes out of nowhere
to add to her stellar track record of recent character development
by asking Wesley to dinner. It seems strange to me that she's so fixated on Wesley. He doesn't really seem like someone she would be interested in. And I also thought it was strange that they're all suddenly treating Wesley with respect.
It's strange to me how she just shows up to the school in the middle of the night, assuming the rest of them will be there, and she's right.
Wesley suggests forcing the demon to give them the books.
And he wonders where Faith is, and it turns out she's already with the demon and just taking the books after a pretty messy fight.
And I wondered how a demon gets an apartment. Again, did he have to disguise himself? Did he use a spell? Maybe the whole place is imaginary. And Faith seems upset at having blood on her hands again.
But it was a demon this time, not a person, so I guess if they don't turn into dust, then she feels guilty about it.
Yeah, maybe when you stab a vampire, if they bleed, the blood turns into dust too. Maybe they just don't bleed. I don't know. Angel bled when he got a cut on his face.
I'm sure you'll get comments about it. When she goes to talk to Angel, who is pretending to read,
she says she needs help and realizes she's in trouble.
Believe me, I don't want to end up the way everybody said I would. Dead or alone or a loser.
But it's too late to stop that last one.
It was clear at this point they're going to start this whole new relationship arc triangle that I would be rolling my eyes about every time it came up, but surprisingly, Angel pushes her away, so at least it's held off temporarily. And Faith ends the conversation with a dumb question.
Do you think if things were different, that things between you and me would be different too?
If everything was different, do you think other things would be different? Probably, Faith. Probably.
I like how you specified that it was a dumb question, like her other questions aren't dumb questions. And of course, Buffy catches the tail end of it and comes to conclusions. Haven't we seen this episode already like 6 times?
I said she immediately makes tons of assumptions that will not be clarified with a few simple questions and will surely drag out for one, if not multiple seasons. Later, it turns out that the mayor directed Faith to make the moves on Angel, so I was happy there was an actual reason for her doing that.
I agree. He wanted her to sleep with him to take his soul away again. But would that make him truly happy? I mean, again, they seem to be mixing up the curse.
Yeah, and he says if they can't do it through happiness, they'll do it the other way.
Giles and Wesley try to research the Ascension, and Wesley mentions that the Council is unaware of Giles' involvement. I wonder if that will become important later.
And he tells Buffy to go find the demon because they need the books.
But then Xander comes in with the demon's address, which he bribed from Willie the Snitch. If Willie gave up information that easily, why would any nefarious persons even hang out at his bar? And why wouldn't Buffy have just gone there herself?
As Buffy is leaving to go get the demon, Faith comes in and there's a bunch of tension from the scene earlier.
It seemed like Buffy didn't end up talking to Angel about what she thought she saw, so I thought at least her character was consistent.
And they eventually make it to the demon's apartment, but of course he's already ripped up.
And Buffy says,
This wasn't just a hit. This is somebody's idea of a party.
"What a dumb, inorganic way to make Faith feel guilty."
Agreed. Meanwhile, the mayor is talking to a mysterious ninja about ripping away Angel's soul.
And he keeps trying to offer him a mint. Buffy talks to Willow about what she saw with Faith and Angel.
Willow uses logic, saying while Faith would make that move, Angel would not. But Buffy chooses to drag this whole thing out for 12 seasons for such stupid reasons. I kept saying yes every time Willow said anything, and you stupid idiot every time Buffy said anything. And surprisingly, Willow basically forces Buffy to go be direct with Angel. But naturally, before she can get there, even though she had all day, Faith is already there.
She tries to come on to him again, while making it seem like a cry for help, but he still pushes her away.
And then to finally convince him, she goes to that old failsafe, which is just throwing a bunch of blood on him.
The mysterious ninja pops out and chants some CGI summoning spells. And when it's done, Angel appears to have reverted to Angelus. Although I noticed in this episode they said Angelus. And he immediately makes out with Faith, and then starts smacking her around.
And I kept thinking, man, if Buffy wasn't such a procrastinator, none of this would have happened. When he finds out that Faith has unexpected motives for bringing him back, Angelus decides to team up with her.
Back in the library, Wesley and Giles give everyone directions on what to do.
Including Oz, who apparently someone decided to go wake up.
Buffy goes to check out the mayor's office for the books, and she says she's going to change into something more appropriate for action, which must be the first time she's ever had that thought. It's nice to finally get some character growth from her.
And the rest of the gang is going to look for physical records on the mayor's activities.
Except for Xander, who decides not to go with them because he is jealous of the attention Cordelia is giving to Wesley. And Giles just hangs out there at the library for some reason.
He's got to eat more bananas. He's got a whole bunch of them. See, that's a double meaning.
Faith takes Angelus to Mayor Elbren, who demonstrates his invulnerability when Angelus gets aggressive. Angelus says he wants to find Buffy to torture and kill her, and Mayor Elbren tells him to go ahead, clearly not realizing that he had half a season to do that last time and still failed.
On the way, they pass Xander, who gets punched.
And I wondered why they wouldn't just kill him.
Well, we find out later why. And they end up at Buffy's house, where Angelus
charms Joyce. And I didn't realize she was so friendly with Angel before this. Actually, I don't know if they've ever had a scene where they talk to each other.
Yeah, but he usually ends up attacking her.
Yeah, but I mean, you know.
So nice to see you again.
They find Buffy upstairs loading up on weapons.
They tell her they have the books of Ascension at the mansion, but when they arrive, they reveal their trickery.
And Angelus knocks Buffy out.
Through their research, the rest of the gang finds out that the mayor is over 100 years old.
Which somehow no one had ever noticed before, even though he's the mayor of a town. Maybe he's secretly a giant praying mantis.
That would be awesome. Xander comes in and reveals that Angelus is back and is teamed up with Faith.
And he's really annoying with how he tries to tell them in a clever way that isn't clever at all.
I think you just described his character for the whole show.
Buffy wakes up chained to the wall, and they torture her by having Faith talk and talk and talk about how unhappy her childhood was and how she never had what she wanted and whatever.
And why she's done everything that she's done in the mayor's plan for Sunnydale.
And Buffy finally tells her what she needs to hear.
You had to tie me up to beat me. There's a word for people like you, Faith. Loser.
And Faith tells her that after the mayor's ascension on graduation day, she will be at his side and they will all be dead.
And when Faith says she fooled everyone by being the world's best actor, Angel counters with,
second best.
Turns out Angel has been faking being Angelus the whole time.
And Buffy reminds us that the show is from the 90s.
May I say something? Psych.
Then the others bust in and are somehow stopped by Faith throwing Angel at them. But they don't know that he's not actually bad, so they should be trying to kill him, or at least capture him or get away from him or something.
There's a small fight between Buffy and Faith, and true to form, she just lets Faith run away. and the rest of the gang also just lets her run away.
Yeah. Back in the library, the mysterious ninja reveals that he was working with Giles all along, and Wesley is upset that he wasn't in on their plan, which is legit. What if he had tried to kill Angel when he thought he was bad?
Right. He says he'll tell the council, which Giles says that's a good idea, since a rogue slayer is bad.
And Xander points out that when Angel punched him, he wasn't actually bad. So at least one good thing came out of all this.
Yep.
Faith mopes to Mayor Elbrun about how she was duped like a f***ing idiot.
But the mayor doesn't seem too worried, since he's invincible, and he's still going to ascend.
And he tries to make her feel better by telling her she has a chance to play some mini-golf.
We close with Buffy visiting Angel, and instead of talking about how effective their plan was that they both knew about and were actively working together on, she tells him they need to take a break, because this show needs more drama.
And that's when I remembered that he knocked her out too, so I guess two good things happened in this episode. Enemies. Overall,
I was genuinely surprised at the end reveal. To me, the build-up was pretty convincing, and I liked that there weren't a ton of in-your-face hints about it. Although David Boreanaz saying he's the world's best actor. Come on. So now Faith's treachery is out in the open, and she's kind of forced to work with the mayor, which is interesting. His plan is moving forward. I'm interested to see what actually happens with all of that. And Faith said that he basically built the town for this specific purpose, which I kind of liked as this big, long plot of why everything is the way it is in this freaking town. And the way the mayor is acting reminds me of why I liked Principal Snyder when he showed up. I think it's good that Wesley and Giles are working together, and it's adding a little bit to Wesley's character development to show that he's coming around to accepting Giles' help. On the other hand, I could not care less about his other arc, the one where he's dating a high schooler. And is that going to be the excuse for getting Cordelia back into the show regularly? Because that's pretty dumb. And it is very, very frustrating to have the Buffy Angel artificial drama thing not only come up again, but continue to be dragged out. The conversation between Buffy and Willow felt like an argument in the writer's room, where one writer was saying, hey, we should add all this stupid drama for absolutely no reason other than to make drama, and the other writer countered all the points why that would not make sense. And then once it was revealed that Angel was faking, I said, oh good, it was all part of the ruse, they're not actually going to go down that path. But then they did anyway. And my next note is just, if it was not for that, my grade would be higher for this episode. My outstanding question, though, is, was the book demon able to shapeshift into not a demon? He was wearing decent clothes, he even tucked in his shirt, which implied that maybe he went out and did stuff, had a job. I don't know, maybe he just likes to be presentable. That was pretty commendable for a demon. The way the events pushed the season arc forward worked for me, even though there were some things in this episode that didn't make sense and some things that just annoyed the hell out of me. But I did give this one a B-.
I gave it a C-. The entire plan on the good guy's side had the end game of learning more about the mayor, but they went about it in the dumbest way possible. Angel trying to kill the mayor made sense when he was pretending to be bad, but after that, they just tried to get Faith to give up info, which she didn't really do, but they acted like she did. All they really found out in the end was that the mayor is apparently immortal, which they could have found out a long time ago by just looking him up, and that he is now invulnerable, and that the ascension will take place on graduation day. That is valuable information in itself, but this was a really dumb, overly complicated way to get it, and I don't really see what they can do with it anyway other than mark their calendars. They totally blew every chance they had to capture Faith, and on her part, nothing she's doing makes any sense either. We got a tiny amount of additional background about her, which was all stuff we could have presumed anyway, and all it did was make her look weaker as a person. Her motivation still doesn't make much sense, especially since she knows what the mayor is planning now, and the mayor working with her and apparently trusting her still doesn't make any sense, nor does him apparently not having hired anyone else to work for him, nor does him trying to turn Angel bad. What was the point of that, just to have him get in Buffy's way? I'm just glad this wasn't a two-parter, because I could easily have seen them do that with Angel supposedly turning bad at the halfway point, so I guess it could have been worse.